Welcome back, everybody, to Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I played a thing, Sonic Rose Edition. Well, we made some progress, and we spoke to Maria last time. She's still looking for her Belmont. And I think we're going to be making quite a bit of progress today, so let's go over what we've got and plan out our next move. Werebane, Medusa Shield, Goggles, Comfortable Eye Protection, Ice Mail, and a Crystal Cloak. Not bad, not bad. Oh, I love the Werebane. Yeah, I think it was worth grinding on, although there is another place where you can find the Hunter Girls, and we'll be encountering that a little bit later. Red Bean Bun. You know, I think I've actually had those before, and they're quite tasty. I'm not sure if it's Japanese or Chinese dish, but hey, we got a cutlass. Organize everything. The cutlass is a little lackluster on the attack, but we're starting to get into the ballpark of what would be good with some of the other weapons we've gotten. However, it's just a boring old swing, nothing to write home about, no special. It just swings. So we'll be keeping the Werebane on for now. I wish I was good at swinging that thing when I really need to, but we have another place to check out, so let's move on. Well, this is kind of foreboding music. And the St. Ashes were surprisingly effective there against that knight, I will say. Now, a hallway like this is theoretically where this little prism should be the most effective, but it's not really. Now, we've encountered these Axe Knights before in a couple of different varieties. Actually, I believe in one of the Game Pluses you can play as an Axe Knight, but I've never found a way to make that effective. I might be able to now. And we are apparently in the Castle Keep. I would wonder if it didn't appear because of dramatic timing, or that we're somehow supposed to come through this warp the first time that we enter the keep. I'm kind of doubting it, because the warps only go to places we've actually been. As you can see, we've still got a considerable amount of castle left to go, but we're getting there, or at least we're filling in what the librarian was able to offer. I swear Fleamen are like the most annoying monster in the Castlevania franchise. It doesn't matter what form they're in, they are annoying. They're small, they're hard to hit. I think they're worse than bats. Nobody quote me on that one. But the Medusa Shield is definitely doing its job as long as I have it pointed in the right direction. We're also having a little bit of difficulty jumping, but not for long, as we have now obtained the Leap Stone. And some turtles. And wall turkey. Not equipment, you dunce. Alright, Leap Stone. Wearer can do a double jump. I'd love to be able to do one of those in real life. And it has this almost wing effect on the cape. I think that's kind of cool. But at this point, we are starting to open up more places that we can actually get to in the castle. Actually, I don't think we would have been able to jump up without the Leap Stone. And now, hey, who needs platforms? When you've got the turfing. Or turfing? Turfing. Meet the single most useless sword in the game. Brings your attack down to 0. It does a normal swing. Has the same timing as any other dull sword. No special moves. It's useless. Here's how useless it is. That just happened. Again, I think I'll keep the Werebane. But now that we've got this thing, let's check out the map here and decide where we're going to go. And at this point, when I was rewatching, I wasn't exactly sure where I was headed with this. But we'll get there. I promise. It'll be good. Wow, do I really spend that much time looking at my map? Well, the castle has provided us with warp, so we're going to be warping eventually. Or apparently. Nope. Yes. Now, the place I think that I should go is actually the Long Library. But that's not where I'm headed first. Because the library would have been really close, and that really would have been a good idea of mine. But no, I'm heading towards the center of the map, where the clock room was. I really should have just gone to the library first, but I'm kind of dumb like that. Oh, well, one thing about going back into old areas is you can see exactly how much more badass you've become. And I'd say that Crystal Prism is not at all badass in any way, shape, or form. But it has been a while since I've saved, I guess. I mean, hey, it's been a whole, what, 30 seconds? Oh, wait, no. 7 minutes? Yeah, that's a little bit more respectable. And besides, I'm not sure if I shared! You know, it's a nice atmosphere with a little skeleton being in the corner. There we go. Got an axe to grind? Yes, I know I was late with that. Yes, I know that was a stupid pun. Yeah, I know I deserve to die for that. And you cannot go through doors as a wolf. Nice to know. Since we are backtracking a little bit, I will like to point out that we actually have some interesting things going on with the backgrounds in this area. Not something you notice usually a whole lot, but there are multiple layers to it. You've got the usual background, yes, but there's another one behind that, and somewhere floating in the middle is a little ominous eyeball that you'll see from time to time. We can also see that this is a stone rose, which is perfectly fitting, since if I didn't have the Medusa shield, it would turn me to stone. Now, I'd like to say I really do a badass job in this area, but I would probably be lying. If I had done things correctly, I wouldn't have thrown my axe. And using those fireballs is kind of a waste of the fact that I used Dark Metamorphosis. Duck, you hobo. There we are. And I'm okay with having the axe, but we'll be trading that off soon enough. I do like the music in this area. Actually, I like most of the music in the game. The Castle Keep is a little bit on the ominous side, but even it has its moments. Boom, boom, dollar. Yes, you did press the thing. It's okay. We can move on now. Ah, the slinger dropped the leather shield. That's nice. Okay, look at this. There we go. Got me a new pocket watch. And another leather shield. Huh, these guys are being generous today. Starting to get close. Ouija table. The Hall of the Fleamen. There is something kind of satisfying about them dying like popcorn on my shield. Now watch and learn. The a la carte shield, a health up. A la carte mail and sword. Behold, the most useless items in the game. Well, next to the turfing. As you can see, the sword is significantly weaker than what we have. The armor is significantly weaker than what we have. And the shield resembles Family Shield. Well, I will say that the sword at least has a neat little effect on it. At least it's got a little bit of splashy look. So if I wasn't concerned about the Werebane basically kicking its ass, this wouldn't be necessarily a bad sword. Unfortunately, there's already better at this point. I mean, unless you get the turfing. And the other side is thankfully open. That one is based on time, and I think it goes by minutes. So I might have had to have stopped if that side hadn't been open, because we are now moving on to Orlox's quarters. And I did a dump. That shield is not a sword. That is a sword. And that is a crouching skeleton. And that is me hating on the Skelerings. Obviously nothing really hurts me too bad here, but doesn't stop it from being a little bit on the annoying side. Actually, Orlox's chamber has some really pretty music going on too. I don't know who Orlox is, but I think we'll be fighting him eventually. Cheese Onyx Broadsword. How many guesses that the broadsword is just another one of those kind of basic things? Yeah, its attack power is fairly decent. But, again, just normal sword. Basic cutlery. And that's boring. Nothing else in this area, if I can recall, and my memories in this area are a little bit on the shaky side. I keep wanting to call this a spectral sword, but it is indeed a poltergeist. As you can also see now, the watch does not actually stop all enemies. Stronger ones get their movement significantly slowed. But dish though, I really love the Werebane. Hammer! That was a hammer. And that was my face. I prefer to keep my face. How about you? Blade. Yes, he's carrying a blade. Now, the animation on that guy actually scared me the first time I killed him because I thought he was doing some sort of suicide move, and it sure looks like it, but it does not actually hurt you. Well, it took us a while to get to the first one, but we've got another warp. So this will definitely put the clock room a lot closer and a lot easier to get to. And we won't have to use the clock at all to get into Orlox's room if we should choose a different path at least. It's kind of neat looking at these guys' animations. A shame I still get myself beat up a little bit. Come on. There we go. And it still takes 2 strikes to put those guys down, so they've got quite a bit of hit points. Well, time to play around with the Spectral Sword. I mean, Poltergeist. I think the Poltergeist has some interesting equipment that it drops, or at least one sword that might be interesting. But I'm really not interested in grinding on it right now. The one that's in the chapel, that one actually does drop the Madeline sword. And that one I will definitely be going after again at some point. It's just I don't really use that sword very much. I mean, I pretty much use it like I use the shield rod. But we are now in the Colosseum, and this makes me really excited. I don't really dig the music so much here, or at least I didn't when I first heard it, but, because it starts out slow, but once it gets into it. Blade Soldiers. Namakura. What are you? A 2-handed sword. Poorly made. Yeah, the attack power kind of reflects that. It's got a swing, and I will say that the 2-handed swords do have a little bit better reach than the one-handers, but I don't think that makes up for me not having my kick-ass Medusa shield. By the way, you can make a drinking game out of how many times I say Medusa shield. We're actually going to be making our way to the left-hand side of the Colosseum, because there is an item of great importance there that I want to pick up. It may be the single most important item that I pick up next to the Medusa shield and the future Chrysogram. I kinda like the way the Blade Masters just jump and juggle there. And they are actually tougher to take down than your average skeleton. I just happen to be a little bit more powerful than they are. Okay, now I'm digging it. I think I picked up some sort of gun, but I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. And we've already gotten a Knight Shield because we got a drop off of one of the monsters. But this will connect us back to the chapel. And hey, there's that sword I was talking about. And he's another victim of my magics. We'll be back here eventually. Actually, I think we'll be all over this place in the next episode. Well, I don't really need that clock anymore. I think I'll take this thing and see what it does. Couldn't hurt, right? And a save point. Very helpful. In a Richter game, I'm pretty much living on getting to the save points to save my bacon, because he is squishy! More importantly, we have a room to the side here, which has Skellabungs, Musketeers, big guy with a sword. Oh, that's neat. So it's some sort of lightning weapon. And you kind of hurt. Ouch. Those musketeers are really a pain in this room because it's long, and there's really nothing to stop them from shooting you in the face. I mean, you can just use your shield in front of you, but you still gotta take care of the big guy. Let's see if I do pretty well this time. Armor Lord. Ow. Ow. I'm not liking my hit points. Yeah, I'm not liking my hit points, but hey, there's a shield rod. $1,000? Oh, okay. Oh, that was close! That was very close. But we have the shield rod, which I've been ranting about as well. It has a kind of slow swing, but it has a good reach, and it bludgeons things, which doesn't work very well for my Dark Metamorphosis, but for the purposes of hitting things, it actually acts pretty well. Well, let's save after all of that, shall we? I don't want to go into that room again. That room hurts. At least not until I'm a little bit more badass. I keep saying that. I don't think it means what I think it means. Nice. Not quite as badass as I was hoping for it to be, but it'll have its purposes. I think part of the reason Medusa's only doing one eye laser there is because she's kind of partly off screen. Nevertheless, a little vengeance on those who felled me before is always nice. And coming up here is an enemy that I actually find kind of interesting. It's called the Owl Knight, and as you can see, he sent his pet owl after me, and kneels after I killed him. There's a little bit more to it than that. These guys also boast quite a bit of health for this part of the game. Oh, I remember you, Plate Lord. Well, let's play around with this guy a little bit. He keeps sending his owl after me. And as you can see, he takes a slash at me with the sword before he kneels by his owl. He is pissed that we killed it, and actually kind of grieves over it. Again, this game has a lot of nice details. So who is this charming gentleman in our way? A gravekeeper. Well, what are you keeping? Green tea? I'm not sure I would die for green tea. But I do know that green tea is oftentimes used as a substitute for alcohol. And that might have been sake he had there. I'm sorry, Mr. Owl Knight. I will try not to kill too many more of you. Then again, I'm not sure that they have anything good or not. I remember when these guys were really rare. The Armor Lord and the other creatures there, the monsters in here are meant to be tough guys because, well, it's the Colosseum. You want to have your best and strongest. And it is kind of a testament to how far we've come that I can mow through them the way I am, at least using regular physical force. I remember there was a day and age when I'd have to actually, you know, backdash away from them or something. Valhalla Knight. Huh. Yeah, I don't get just about any mythology in here. We've seen Greek, we've seen Norse, we've seen various English, and even fictional things like stuff out of the Lord of the Rings. Which does remind me that there's actually a thing called the Ring of Varda, which is an item in this game, but only accessible in a Game Plus. It's called a Skull Ring in the Japanese version, but Varda actually is the name of an elf, I believe, from Tolkien lore. And here's the place that I was talking about where we have more of these hunter girls. I think there's at least 2 of them, or 3 of them in my way. So this technically would have been a better place to grind the sword that I'm actually using right now. Oh well, what you gonna do? Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take down these hunter girls. I still think that the way I went about it was a good thing, even though it was a little bit more tedious and had a chance of dropping off of an edge and going into oblivion. It was still sooner than this place, and I very much like that I don't have to grind for any more weapons until, well, the Chrysogrim. And there are some better weapons that can still be obtained in this first castle area, but we'll get to them in due time. And that's why I always power up the Hellfire. This room's pretty much nothing but trash mobs, but it also has a couple of baskets which have some of the other sub-weapons. And a life up. We'll just stick with the axe. We don't really need anything special. Well, now let's clear out the area here. Ah, the Paranthropus. This is the guy that has the Ring of Varda in a Game Plus. If you're not in a Game Plus, he has a chance of dropping a Topaz ring instead. And I believe the Topaz is better than the Zircon, but not by too much. Lead Cloak. Now this is an interesting piece of equipment. It's a slightly less defense, but it converts damage into hearts, which means every time I get my ass handed to me, I'm going to get hearts. And since we lost a lot of them because of that sub-weapon that I had recently with the lightning strikes, I think this would be a good idea. See? I just recovered some hearts. Lost some health, but it's a trade-off. Also, that creature in the background, I kind of feel sorry for it. This place does not look like it's good for anybody's health. But there's one area here that we've kind of been avoiding until now. So let's make our way over there. Ah. Mr. Cass. Now there's a secret in this room, I believe, but I can't get to it currently because it is over my head. I believe I actually ran across the secret actually because of the inverted castle. I wound up falling through the floor, which in this case is the ceiling. Well, let's take this thing for a test ride.
Who are you? Open Hell's Gate! Come forth, my servants! The scent of your blood. You're a Belmont. Crush this flea who invades my castle!
Your castle? Mr. Belmont, I think you might be mistaken. So we have a Minotaur and a Werewolf. Now, you may recall the Werebane actually said it was super effective against werewolves, but they're not even going to have a chance to do that, because Medusa just took care of it.
I'm certain that was a Belmont, so he says he's the lord of this castle.
Very strange, considering that's always been associated with Dracula. And then there's that manner of the guy Ulrox. He was apparently described in a novel called Kabuchi no Suiso Kyoku. He's kind of respects humanity and has curiosity about their various interests. And I always fall down there. I know that I should jump over it, but I don't. But now we have the form of mist. Transform into mist. Very handy. No dodge. There we go. So now we can turn it into mist, and that is going to allow us to, well, it would have allowed us to get the Mirror Curious, but there's other applications for it too. And at this point I'm just trying to remember exactly where I want to go, because there's quite a few things opening up for us. The path has been decided. Timer, or... yeah, we'll keep this. Other than that room with the clocks, I really don't use the stopwatch very often. It's just one of those if it happens to be in my inventory kind of things, and I'm actually rather annoyed when I do use it because it sucks up a lot of hearts. If for some reason you do manage to get rid of all of the items rotating around the poltergeist, it is possible that he'll restore them, but... ow, we keep taking damage. Well, this heart cloak is definitely going to good use. And look at that, a broadsword. Isn't that cute? Yeah, the first time I played this game, as I said, I just chose whatever had the strongest attack power. I didn't know about the little things that you could do or consideration of swing speed. I was just, it has higher numbers, it has to be better. A mentality I have since taken care of. And since I seem to have recovered my my hearts back, I think we can retire the blood cloak for a little while. And I think now I'm finally going back to the long library because we have some business there. Yep, we're going down. We won't take the elevator, that gives me motion sickness anyways. Oh, Medusa Shield, you're so helpful. I love you. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, My Addiction to the Medusa Shield. Take 2. Unfortunately, I can't one-shot Duran. But we don't have to worry about that. I believe that the Werebane is, for the most part, good enough to one-shot most enemies in here at this point. I don't think any of them have more than 30 to 40 hit points. Everything has to scream, right? $1,000! Woo! Those books are loaded! Yeah, that would be a case where one of their special drops is literally $8,000. You're not going to get that off of a regular mob. Why do I keep doing that? It is the very definition of madness to keep doing things over and expecting a different result. Ah. Now we're on the track. As you can see, there are a couple of ledges that we just can't quite make it to. Or at least we couldn't quite make to it. I can words good, I promise. Now this is funny, because this save point here, I once upon a time just went in here and then literally exited. I didn't know there was anything beyond it, because for all the other save points, there usually is a wall behind it. But no, we've gone through, and we have my best friends, the Fleamens. Armored Fleamen, which means they take 2 hits to drop. They don't hurt very much, but it's kind of the principle of the thing at this point. And for all I do with magic and everything, I think I really should be using my sub-weapon more. If I was using the axe right now, for example, I could probably cut this guy and be done with it, but no. Yes. Although when they are in the armor, they do hit for like 9 damage with that axe. That's actually kind of impressive. It's the only thing impressive about them, but I think they still bleed. If I can actually hit them with a sharp pointy thing. Yes, yes they do. Well, that makes me feel a little better anyhow. Chair! You know, this could be a nice study for me. Stone mask? Brings up defense a little bit. This chair? You know, it's a little gaudy, but it's fine. It's just a reading room. With a secret wall. Topaz circlet and a holy rod. The circlet brings up our intelligence, but brings down our defense. I'm not going to compromise on this one for the time being, and we're going to try on the holy rod. Still not as powerful as what we have, but I think this one actually does have a back-forward attack. Yeah, I think... yeah, there, where it flashed. I think that's where I executed it properly. Still not altogether very impressive, all things considered. It's still a flail. And it doesn't do neat things like this one. Sick of Medusa. It does take a chunk of magic to do that, of course. Because they wouldn't let you do something awesome like that for free. Even though the size of the bar never changes, how much mana you actually have does, so... early on, that will suck up a lot more mana than it will later on in the game. Like some things you can execute once or twice, and then later on you can execute it pretty much as you will. And we're about to see how good the Medusa shield is against this boss, which I believe is going to be a lesser demon. And we're about to see how much lesser he becomes. Oh, he summons friends. That actually could be important later on, because I believe his minions can actually drop stuff. But we'll be encountering some of those later, again, in the inverted castle. There should be something in the side here, but no, there's not. Apparently not every little side path actually leads to victory. But it does lead to a Takamitsu, an Onyx, and a Frankfurter. I don't know that I trust pot hot dogs any more than I do the wall chicken, but we now have the soul of the bat, which is much more exciting. Any place that was over our heads is now accessible. And I'm going to get my buttons mixed up from time to time, so forgive me. You know, since I do have the shield rod, let's actually find out what some of these different things actually do. And let's start with the leather shield, since that was the first one we picked up. No. Defense up. Pretty typical, like, expected result, yeah. Night Shield. What do you do? An armored horse. Defense up. I don't know if these stack, but I do know that you can have multiple things at a time. I just don't know if it adds my defense on top of defense, if you know what I mean. And since our mana is so low, we're gonna have to walk a little bit before we can check out this one. Oh! An attack shield! I was not expecting that. How about you, Alucard? Oh, I don't have enough mana. That is unfortunate. Or is it fortunate? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, let's try it out here. Question mark? Yeah, it doesn't actually do anything. Whoop. That did some things. Holy cow, that did a lot of damage. Either way, I think it's about time that we switch back to something a little bit more reliable, especially because I'm used to things popping on my shield. Medusa! If I knew better ways to take care of them, I would. Thank you, Mr. Save Point. But we're not quite done with the library yet. We still have another area to explore up top, and I believe we can get there just jumping along like we are. And even if we... Actually, no, we can't jump up there. But we have better transportation now. If we don't turn the nest. Our dog. There we go! Third time's a charm. So what is it we have up here? Antivenom, potion, and a fairy card. Well, we've had the fairy scroll for a while now, but this is the fairy card, which summons the fairy familiar.
Thank you for giving me life.
You're welcome? This one will actually heal you if you get status ailments or run low on health. And the higher level she is, the higher the level she gets, the more responsive she is to your needs. She can also detect various hidden walls in the game, and will have special dialogue for it. So, like I said, I'm actually kind of sorry that I've already broken through a certain number of breakable walls, because, like I said, she would actually help with that. But, I'm just not that patient. There! She got rid of my curse status. And I immediately got cursed again. Just when I think she's not going to attend to my wounds, she proves me wrong. Not that we didn't get like 2 billion uncurses going through this little stretch just grinding up the rapier. I do kind of like that little dice jangle of the skulls when they hit the ground. Again, there's just a lot of little touches to this game which are really nice. I really should have said something when I was in the room with the bloody cloak, because that place was just full of blood and fish hooks and things, and just kind of a nasty area. And it's a unique room. You don't see any other rooms like that in the entire castle. There's definitely prettier rooms, like that place in the cathedral. And you know, I'm strong enough that I'm really not too scared of this guy anymore either. We'll be going there. We'll be going there. As usual, I hit up every save on the way up and down. You can never be too careful, and there's been too many times when I was a kid where I lost a lot of progress because I didn't save. Oh, do I make it a point of saving in Pokemon games, let me tell you. Especially before I knew about how legendaries worked. Well, the map already tells us that there's something up here. So let's go investigate. My favorite soundtrack here. Fire of Bat. And it's exactly what's on the tin. Shoot fireballs as a bat. I think each of the different forms has 2 different upgrade items, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Now what this does mean is that I can actually fill in all of these rooms 100%. You might have noticed that I left a part of the underground area empty because there was a little place on the ceiling I just couldn't get to with the current equipment that I had. No dog. There we go. It does cost mana to execute a fireball as a bat, so I won't be doing that a whole heck of a lot. Now that fireball is actually very helpful with one of the other things that you have in this game, but we just haven't gotten that far yet. Holy Cross. Can I get it? I got it! I don't got it. I got it. And now that we can do the double jump and can turn into a bat, there's nothing to keep us from exploring this area. You can't see it, but I'm bopping my head. Phantom Skull. Flail Guard. Phantom Skull. Magic Missile. Picatella, Ice Mail, and Shaman Shield. Picatella, excuse me. Shaman Shield actually is better defense. Looks cool. The sword, just a basic sword. Now what do you do? Now that we have the shield rod, we can play around with these things. Is that what goat thing? Intelligence up. Actually, I kind of like that. But there are things I like better. And shields that I like better. No one will replace you, Medusa Shield. Well, maybe the Alucard Shield will. Skull Lord. don't have a lot of hearts right now, so we're going back to this one. Also, I do love that it's got a bright red shade to it. It's really the only piece of cosmetics that you have in the game, so you might as well enjoy it. Two fireballs. Clear out the rest of the screen since we've got so little to go. Coming in for a landing. And thanks to our being able to get the underwater area cleared out, we don't have to worry about this little body of water. It's just not going to bother us. Now, you can actually turn the relics on or off, so if I wanted to, I mean, I could make the water kind of annoying. I don't know why you would, unless you're really trying to challenge yourself, and right now, I'm not attempting to challenge myself. If I was, I wouldn't be playing through this game. I'm pretty sure at this point I could make almost any weapon badass. But tell me, does this part of the game click with you? I know that was a bad pun. There are 4 of these little wheels in this clock tower, and they will each need to be turned until you hear a soft click. A problem with using the Medusa shield there is pretty obvious. It hits continually, so it's easy to go past the part that you're clicking. Harpy! Oh, shoot. Yeah, like that. Those gold Medusa heads, those are a lot more prevalent in this area, and those are the ones that are able to stone you. At least if that were possible. And my little fairy would cure me if that happened, but she really doesn't have a need. Fleamen and Medusa heads. Which one is actually more annoying? I am trying to think now. I think I'm gonna have to go with Fleamen at this point, at least for this game. Some of the other Castlevanias, the placing of the Medusa heads is just absolutely dickish. Not to say that their arrival here is much better, but there's no bottomless pits around here, so if they knock me back, it's just going to be annoying more than life-taking. But it is nice that I can recover health from them. Probably another reason I'm a little bit more lenient towards them. A Belmont wouldn't be able to do that. Actually, now that I think about it, this part would be a little bit tricky without the water and immunity.
There is something funny about this wall.
Yeah! No shit, Sherlock. She says as I am breaking it down. I'm sorry, you're just my least favorite familiar. I'll be replacing you as soon as I can. I'll still be leveling you up to the level cap, but yeah, I'm sorry, you're not, no, I'm not gonna play with you. Not more than I have to. In fact, I could technically put you away at any time, but I'm not gonna be that cool. And she is cute. Heart up? Always good. Well, the heart thing is definitely earning its keep. Interesting little room. It's another one of those unique ones. Not particularly special, but unique. We got some life, we got some hearts, we got a high potion. That's kind of nice to know. At least there is some purpose for these fleamen. That's probably one of their special drops. Not that there's much special about fleamen other than their annoyance, but it's a thing. Ouch. Ow. Let's see. Yeah, we're good with the hearts right now, so let's just switch back to the semi-transparent crystal cloak, which sometimes looks solid and sometimes not. One nice thing about this room is that the gears do stay clicked in place. Otherwise, we'd be having a little bit of difficulty because we actually have a hidden room or a locked room that we can open by using these. And it actually does require both rooms to have their stuff together. The clock tower actually doesn't look much different in the inverted castle, other than the candles are upside down. It is a little bit suspect about what is up or down here. And what that unlocked is the way over here, which was steel helmet, gold plate, and star flail. Gold plate is equivalent. Steel is more defense, but lowers intelligence. I'm gonna pass on that one for now, too. The stone mask seems to be a nice little middle ground. It's got some decent defense and some good intelligence. Now, let's see about that star flail. It's got fairly good attack power. Does it have a back forward? Yeah. Not a very exciting one, but it's a back forward. Onward to progress. I have a suspicion that everything here wants to murder me for some reason. I could be wrong. Oh, this area. Sword Lord, which then becomes a second monster, a Vandal Sword. The Vandal Sword seems even easier to take down than the first part, so that's not entirely a good thing on theirs. They make an interesting noise. It's almost like they laugh when they die. There are statues in this place, and they do actually kind of tell you where to go.
This is really suspicious looking.
Really suspicious. I will quote you on that. Healing Mail. This is a great piece of equipment. If you are down to nothing and in a vacant room, restores hit points while walking. How much hit points? 1. It just occurred to me that I don't really have any rings on. I think it's not until the inverted castle that we start getting some really nice rings to wear. The one that the Paranthropus would have, the Ring of Varda, would be the best for us, but sadly it is not to be this playthrough. As I was saying earlier about that, the name of Varda was from Tolkien lore, and is referenced to elves, and, you know, there's the rings of men, the rings of elves, and I believe the description on the Ring of Varda is something about the one ring to rule them all. So I should probably take that to the nearest volcano. The ring is called the Skull Ring in Japanese, and has appeared in a couple of different games, and it's said to curse you in those. I don't actually remember what the Skull Ring does in Aria of Sorrow, I believe, but it's there, so it's a thing that's happened before. Wall pot roast. Okay. Actually, this area has got a lot of wall items. Swing and a miss. This part always bothered me because it always looks like there should be something here, but there's not. I may actually have to compare that to the Japanese version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, at least the Sega Saturn version, that is, because there were extra rooms in there, and at least one more familiar. If I'm not mistaken, it was supposed to be a pixie or something like that. So similar to the fairy, except that one might have actually had some attack power. I can't be entirely sure. Nothing on that side. TNT. Wow, it's dynamite. Yes, you can smack me for the bad things. Pocket knife. For a second I thought that was like a regular sword or some sort of weapon. I know I'm using something similar to that in Legend of Zelda, and it can be used as a boomerang. But it is a throwing weapon here, and so I guess that makes a certain amount of sense. You can also throw the dynamite. Shuriken. Well, sure, I can. Karasuman. Karasu is the Japanese word for crow or raven, so that kind of makes sense with the way this character looks. I don't know why I didn't break out the Medusa shield here, but this should be fine. More life, always good. And it appears that we are heading back into the ominous keep. I like that. Anything up here? Yeah, the falchion. And what do you do? You're a Norman curved sword. That looks like every other generic sword in this game. Oh, you know what we do with generic swords. Stick you in the inventory. And forget you exist. You know, game, I haven't really done anything, but I guess saving isn't a bad idea. Oh, now this looks familiar. Yes, indeed. This reminds me of something. Well, let's see what we can do here.
I've been waiting for you. So it is you. But why is a Belmont planning the resurrection of Count Dracula? Count Dracula rises but once every century, and my role is over. If I can resurrect him, then the battle will last for eternity.
Well, that's not good. Richter, you really are the lord of the castle. Medusa, go. Okay, we've got guard against that. Well, that's hurting a little bit. Come on, stop dodging my Medusa. Ow. Alright, let's try to bleed you out. I've used all my mana, so, you know. I don't suppose the Holy Cross would work very well against you. Come on. Okay, he bleeds. Okay, I bleed. Oh, she just restored 100, and that didn't help too much. Hey, whipping boy. Ow. Oh, okay, that could have gone better. Let us go out this evening for a pleasure. The night is still young. Well, that was an ending. Good thing we didn't do very much. I'd also like to point out that our save file keeps changing icons. I think every time that we save, it changes it to another random icon in the cycle. So it's just another one of those neat little details. But I'm a little bit disturbed that we lost so handily, so we are going to have a rematch. We're just going to change up what we do. Just a little bit. I mean, so far I've been walking through this castle pretty much like I own the place. A couple of close calls, sure, but that's the first time I've seen the game over in this particular run. Oh, well, now we find out what's actually in Dracula's attic. You'll recall we were here with Richter, and there's still the heart from the candle, sure. Sirloin, turkey, pot roast, frankfurter, more pot foods. Is this stone? Is this dark? Is this holy? Platinum ale. Now that might be interesting. In fact, it is 2 points more defense. We'll take that. After all, we just got our butts handed to us by a Belmont. Then again, I am half vampire. That probably makes sense. Heart max up. Not that I'm actually going to be using my Holy Cross against him, because that seems like a stupid idea. That doesn't mean we can't prepare. In fact, we just gotta resist Holy. And he uses Holy powers, because vampire killer. What else can we do to increase our survival chances? Tempting as dynamite is, let's go with the protection for Holy, and defense up, and we're gonna wear the attack shield. You use Holy Cross, I use this, and swing and a miss. Let's try that again. Oh yes, that was far more desirable.
Magnificent! But now feel my unbridled wrath.
Part 2? Ah, that's what holy water looks like when he uses it. But I'm not playing fair. I've already tasted the rainbow. However, I am almost out of magic. And he's out of life.
It's over, Belmont. So the war between humans and vampires finally ends here. What need for the shepherd when the wolves have all gone? My time on this world has come to an end. Mankind continues to fight, but it is a desperate fight to stay alive. I suppose that he chose a life of warfare, since that was the only way he knew. Like you, Father, he chose a path of destruction. Farewell, land of my birth. Never again will these eyes gaze upon your beauty.
Just like the wind, I've always been drifting high up in the sky that never ends. Through thick and thin, I always win, 'cause I will fight both life and death to save a friend. I face my destiny every day I live, and the best of me is all I have to give. Just like the sun, when my day's done. Sometimes I don't like the person I've become. Is the enemy within a thousand men? Should I walk the path my words so bad I have? Is someone testing me every day I live?
Well now, that hardly seems like a fitting ending. The castle is gone, but so is Richter and everybody else. We also don't know what happened to Maria, so next time we'll see what happens when we actually 100% it and see if there's a better ending to be had. Spoiler alert, there is. I've been bragging about it for a while now. So until next time, everyone, take care.